that moment when you're working on a video about potentially having exosuits in Generation Zero, and the dang team puts out a survey that has exosuits as an option in Generation Zero. So what's going on, everybody? My name is Tenebris Infinite, and welcome back to Generation Zero. Today we're going to be doing another wishlist video where we're going to be talking about the potential for exosuits here in the game. How they would potentially look, the purpose they would serve, and the way they could be balanced into the game to not totally break this game. So as I mentioned, there was a survey that the Generation Zero team put out that will be down in my description that I implore you dudes to go off and fill out. This survey is really exciting with tons of interesting options for the way the game could go in the future. And the fact that the Generation Zero development team has put out something like this for the community to fill out to give the direction for where they should head with the game is awesome. It's totally the dopest frickin' thing. We could have everything from new robots to dang dinosaurs and like zombies and shit in this game. So definitely go off and fill out that forum, fill out that survey, and let the Generation Zero team know what you would maybe like to see coming up in the game. And just in case if you guys are wondering what I would personally like to see as new enemy designs in the future, here's just a quick little pop-up of my selection. And again, the survey link will be down in the description. Please go off and fill this out, my dudes, because the more feedback the Generation Zero team gets, the better things will be moving forward. So let's just jump into the exosuit discussion of the day. So let's get things started off here first with how I think an exosuit could look in Generation Zero. So I'm going to put up just a little bit of footage from a video game called The Surge. And in The Surge you have something called an exo rig, which is pretty much an exosuit. And on this exo rig you are able to attach different components from the enemies that you're able to rip off during combat. So, in Generation Zero, I could see an exosuit working along a very similar line with how things work in the Surge. In Generation Zero, what you could do is you could have a base exosuit that you would wear, and then on that exosuit you would be able to attach various components that you would be able to pick up from the enemies. So my thought process is that what you'd be able to do is you'd be able to take things like, say, the shotguns that you can find on the runners, or maybe the big concussive exploding launchers that the hunters have, and you'd be able to attach something like that to the arm of your rig and utilize it as a weapon. And then also on top of that, you'd be able to take things like the various metal shielding that you can find on robot enemies, and you'd be able to attach that to things like your shoulders, again your arms in place of weapons, and your legs, and then you'd be able to have additional armoring on your character that could potentially take a number of shots before breaking off, saving you from damage. On top of that, you could also have potentially like a pneumatic thing attached to the leg portion of your exosuit, enabling you to sprint maybe for longer, or to jump higher, or to have some sort of increased mobility. So with all of that being said, also shoulder-mounted things. Shoulder-mounted things are necessary. But with all of that being said, exosuits would be an incredibly powerful object in this game, pretty much putting you into a temporary state of being able to be stronger and faster and more reactive than the robots that you're facing. Now, I'm not saying this with the intention of having it be your character go into some sort of god mode when you're in an exosuit, though. My idea for the exosuit is that the exosuit could run on the gas canisters that you find from the different robots. And the gas canisters then could serve as a very strong balancing factor for the way the exosuits function. So my first idea for limiting the exosuit in order to balance it a little bit is that you could run on gas as a finite resource. So what you can pick up in this game are gas canisters that right now are utilized as traps for enemies. But it would be cool to see their functionality maybe be further expanded and utilized as a raw fuel source for your exosuit, or potentially anything else like a vehicle or something like that in the game. The idea would be you would be able to utilize and maneuver around in the exosuit as long as you had gas in the exosuit. And then the various things that you put onto the exosuit would make you expend more gas as you moved around, fought with things, jumped, ran, did anything that would require the exosuit to assist you. So my second idea for how we could potentially limit the exosuit to make it not so overpowered is to additionally make the gas portion of the exosuit be a weak point for your character. So a lot of times when you're taking down the robots in this game, you'll aim for the gas tank and try to blow up the enemy. And I think that if we had exosuits, exosuits could potentially function in the same way. So, the way the exosuit would work with this second idea of mine is that the exosuit would potentially be destructible. So, as you put the pieces of armor onto your exosuit, they'll be ripped off by the enemies, so you'll need to replace that armor on the fly. Additionally, you'll have the gas tank on your back, and you'll have maybe a way of shielding it from like 3 shots or something like that, and then after that it's a one-shot kill, your exosuit blows up and your character dies. Therefore destroying the exosuit, requiring you to go off and get another one, making exosuits then a resource in this game, as opposed to just this set vehicle object or something like that. It would be more so of a thing that you would have to be continuously making for yourself. So I was thinking the thing that could protect the canister on your back could basically be a shrunk down version of this. Kind of similar... Whoop. Okay. Kind of similar to what happens on the backs of hunters and stuff. I don't think that other tank things would be appropriate to be used, but maybe you could have like a heavy exosuit rig that would utilize the larger guns, and that exosuit rig wouldn't be designed for mobility or anything like that. You would just use that at a location where you would need a ridiculous amount of firepower. So I know that a lot of people might be adverse to this game taking a more sci-fi direction. So again, just as always, I totally invite you guys to dislike this video if you don't jive with the idea of exosuits in this game. But personally for me, I think exosuits would be a great way for them to introduce even more difficult robots and scale the difficulty up, but then also be giving opportunities to the player to scale themselves up with the difficulty as well, in a way that would be bombastic and really exciting, and would include a lot of, customization options and a lot of in-depth work that you could do. So you could build up the class of your character, and then you could also build up your exosuit rig on the side as another factor of gameplay in this game. So, let me know what you guys think about the potential for exosuits down in the comments below, and again, be sure that you fill out that survey that the Generation Zero team put out, because again, all the feedback we can give them will just lead to things moving in a better direction, I think. Because out of the survey, they'll be able to gather a consensus for what we all want to see, not just for what the vocal minority wants to see. So, Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe consider subscribing to catch more Generation Zero news and update videos, and then also potential speculation videos and wish list videos and tips videos. I do everything that you need for Generation Zero. So, yeah, again, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.